All right, we are entering live zone. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics, and we're going to do some unboxings today. I got so many unopened boxes. I have enough to make content for a while, so I don't want to do videos every day because I don't want to get people bored, but I definitely want to try and be a lot more consistent, especially since now that I have some Patreon members and some viewers that really appreciate my video content. I want to make sure it's stuff that people like because a lot of the books I show, when I collect stuff, it's usually I'm taking the chance on them, and some of them are going to be spec books that you may not have considered or may not have heard about, but we're going to find out. Now, four of the five boxes, I believe, unless I change the boxes, because let me see. Yeah, four of the five boxes, I know what's in them, but you don't. One of them is one that I forgot to label at some point, so I have no idea what's inside it. So we're basically going to learn that together. So Silver Age Surfer is here. Welcome, good sir. Hope you're doing well. Quick little announcement before I get into the whole shenanigans of what's about to partake with you guys and gals. Two people, one last night and one just literally about 5 minutes ago. Um, Two different people inquired about showcase number 22 from my auction. So far, well, the first one I replied to, haven't heard back from them yet, and the second one I literally just replied to, so they may not have even seen the email yet. Since that is the only book so far where more than one person was when inquiring about it, basically the way it's going to work is whoever offers the highest amount will get it. So I'll leave that up to you guys. I mean, if neither one of you want it or whatever, perfectly fine. If one of you wants to allow the other person to get it for the minimum of what I'm asking for, again, perfectly fine. But I wanted to put that out there. Of course, I'm not going to put anybody's names out on the internet. But if they want to disclose who they are, if they're on the live chat, you're more than welcome to. I like to keep people's personal stuff out. So, with that being said, let's go through the basics I do every video. First of all, if you want to critique my AI art, whether you like it, whether you hate it, leave a comment in the comment section. Always appreciate your, um, as long as it's honest opinion, that's all I care about. But let's go into giving our shout out to our Patreon members. I currently have an amazing 10 people that were kind enough to join my Patreon. So what I do is if you want to join my Patreon, and you could do that at patreon.com/we love comics. No minimum to join other than the fact that Patreon requires a minimum of $2 a month for anybody. But every video that I do, and so far I haven't forgotten, knock on wood, as I bang my forehead, um, you will get a shout out every single video that I do. Obviously, if I start getting hundreds of Patreon members, first of all, that's a good problem to have. But second of all, I mean, I can't read everybody's name at that point, but I'll still have the list so everybody can check it out. But if you don't want just your name put out there, and again, I won't put somebody's last name because I don't want people's personal business out there. I'm very strict when it comes to safety and security for people. But if you want a link to social network, YouTube channel, or eBay or Amazon store, for example, instead of just your name being shouted out, let me know at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com when you join Patreon, or if you're already a Patreon member and you'd like to switch it to something that you want me to promote. I have no problem with doing that. Again, there is no minimum to join, but the person who has the highest amount will always be put last as my way of showing appreciation for that. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate anybody else. I just want to show respect where it's due, and I'm sure people will understand that. So, I'm starting something new soon. All I need is 10 more paid members to my Patreon, and I'm starting to do giveaways. Once I get 20 paid members, um, you get a chance. There's about 5 different unopened baseball card packs that I am going to raffle away. So basically, I'll randomly pick one, and then we'll pick a raffle of one of the 20 members each month that we have 20 paid members. When it gets to 30, 50, 100, so on and so on, there's other giveaways. So if you want to join, you don't have to have a minimum to do it other than the required minimum by Patreon. But you get one entry in the contests for every $2 that you apply to your monthly Patreon account to We Love Comics. So the contest will be every month. There is a level achieved. So as it goes higher, the giveaways get better, and it will be done every month. So if you put $2 into a Patreon account for me, it's you get an entry to come go in. If you have, for example, $20 account, you get 10 entries every time. So if that works for you and you want to give me a try and join my Patreon to help support my channel and help support feeding the cats that I take care of, stray cats, join me at patreon.com/ we love comics. Last but not least, before I turn on the camera so you can see my ugly mug, is I'm looking to acquire some Grail books like Amazing Fantasy 15, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 first print, and all the others that you see there. I did a video last week of a bunch of comics that I will be willing to trade. If it takes a whole bunch of them to get one of the comics, I have no problem with that, as long as it's a fair trade where both parties win. Advantages of trades are you don't have to worry about not having money in your pocket to be able to buy a book. You also don't have to worry about additional taxes added on to the sales of the books. And then you don't have to worry about reporting a trade when it comes to April 15th tax deadline, because trades are not taxable. So many advantages of doing trades. So if anybody out there has any of these books or knows anybody that has one, and maybe they have a 2 copies of Amazing Fantasy 15, I mean, first of all, my hat's off to you for that. But if you're looking to get a whole bunch of other books for maybe one of you or extra, contact me, peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, and I'm going to keep doing it until eventually I succeed. I want to show my subscribers and my viewers that if you don't give up, you can achieve your goals even if you don't have money in your pocket. So I'm going to stay persistent with it, not give up, and we're going to make it happen. And once the first one happens, I guarantee you that's going to influence a lot of people to start changing their concept of how things get done. And I'll bet you there'll be more than the one coming. But you first got to get the first milestone. So with that being said, let's put on the video camera. Welcome everybody that is here. We got Dan Lewis, we got Jacob Morgan, we got Trade Paper Dad, and of course, like I said earlier, Silver Age Surfer _comics, GT Key Comics. Welcome. I did forget to give the shout outs, so let's give them really quick. We got Carl, we got Sith, we got Scott, we got Michael B, we got Kevin W, we got James R, Herbert R, Garth Bleak, who is new to my Patreon, and also the newest member, Dan L. And last but not least, because like I said, we go based on who contributes the most to be last. And also, he's the only one so far that asked for me to give out his Instagram link. So if you are on Instagram, go to Silver Age Surfer _comics. Tell him we love comics sent you, because you can ask him. He'll tell you right now. Every time he gets a new member, he messages me. So he appreciates it. So would he love 1,000 new members? Sure. But he appreciates one. So if you want to be that one person to make his day, go and check him out at Silver Age Surfer _comics on Instagram. So again, anybody in my Patreon, if they want me to do that for you as well, just let me know. Give me the permission and give me what you want me to promote. And instead of just your first name, I'll do that for you. No problem. So almost forgot about that. Getting old. That's an excuse, but I still did it. All right. So we got 5 boxes, 4 of the 5. I know what's in here. This one, I showed a similar book if you watched a couple of videos back. This is a part of the version of that one book. Let me just make sure. Yes, okay. So this is a spec one. It's very inexpensive. If you're going to take chances on investing in comics and speculating on comics, you don't want to be buying them when they're at their peak. You want to buy them where there's room to grow and there's room to have potential. And the best part is, if they don't pan out, you're not spending an arm and a leg investing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a book. So sometimes it pays to take the chance on these. So let me first take a look. Well, make sure there's nothing else in here. All right. So this one I bought probably 2 years ago. Let me see if there's a date. Uh, Yeah, I purchased this back in 2021. So actually 3 years ago, I bought this group of comics. So where's the opening? Okay, they had it upside down. They have it taped before a live audience, which is you. Let's see if everything is what they say it is. Okay. Now, they said they're signed, so I'm going to assume that it might be one of those where they're signed on the inside. So let's hope that is the case. Okay, and it is. Good. So they put two in each sleeve, which kind of stinks, but I can just switch that out. These are high grade of these books. This looks like could be a 9.8 potential. And I'm going to look at the next one really quick to see if it's in there. Now, they say it's signed by two people. I only see one signature, so maybe there's one on another page. So let me just go through really quick. But at least the main one is there. So let me see. Sometimes maybe they do like a centerfold or something. These pages are white pages. So bear with me a second. But at least so far, there is one signature. So even if it ends up they were mistaken, or maybe it's not all of them that have the signatures of both, I'll go through it on a deeper level later on. But this is actually something worth taking the chance on. And again, these are all high grade. So without further ado, we've got Excalibur #1, which is not the first appearance, but it's the first issue of Excalibur. Excalibur has been rumored to be in the MCU. Now, the reason I say rumored is even if they hire actors, even if they film scenes, unless it actually comes out into a movie and it isn't cut, anything can change. So always keep that in mind. Even if they say, well, we hired the actors, they got the costumes, we shot all the parts they're going to play in the movie. You know, they shot parts in the Deadpool Wolverine movie that they took out and they switched it. So anything can be changed. But we have Excalibur 1 and 2. Now, it does say on it, all signed by Ellen Davis and Chris Claremont. So far, and they're both on page 1, because back in the days, people didn't want comics signed on the cover because they thought it would ruin it. So I did verify, at least in these two issues, issue 1 and issue 2. Um, I'll keep looking, but I saw Chris Claremont's signature. I have a lot of Chris Claremont's signatures, so I can verify. But look how gorgeous. Like I said, keep in mind, I've been keeping this in the box since 2021. Look how gorgeous and vibrant this is. These are all 9.8 potentials. I mean, this looks like it came out brand new, like just printed. So I'm going to put new bags and boards in these later. I'm not going to open the rest up. I'll check. Again, look at the colors on this one. This is Excalibur #3. I remember getting all these because I really love. This was the one that I read. When people ask questions all the time, the people on YouTube or comic book channels always ask, what's your favorite read? The first like 15 issues of Excalibur or the entire Alan Davis run, once they changed artists, I wasn't really into it as much. But, and this one, again, very simplistic. But again, I mean, just look at the colors. Now, this came out in the mid 80s, or probably late 80s. These have 9.8 potential written all over them. And with them, and again, I'll check the rest later on, all being signed. So we got issue 5 and 6. So none of the signatures, as far as I can see, are on the cover. So I'm assuming they're all inside. So I'm going to verify. But again, all of these are in beautiful condition. We got 7 and 9, so there wasn't any 8, which I knew about when I bought it. And then let's check and see if this one's signed. We got Excalibur, Mojo Mayhem, and the first appearance of Excalibur. I want to see if this one's signed. So let's check that out. And by the way, anybody that wants to be kind enough to hit the like button, it will always be appreciated. All right, so let's check this out. All right, so again, I don't see Alan Davis's, but right here on the on the front of the back of the cover, there is Chris Claremont's signature. And again, white pages. Now it does have, this one's not going to be a 9/8 because it has a color break right there, as you can see with the crease. It does have right there, you can see right there, little line. So this is probably a 9/0 to a 9/2, but still with the signatures, I'll take it. So, and let's check. This is the other bigger book of theirs. All right, this one has Arthur Adams' signature, Art Adams. So maybe it wasn't that they both signed each book. It's probably each book has either Alan Davis or Chris Claremont, and I just wrote it wrong. So again, I mean, look at the color, look at the white pages. Now again, these aren't, you're not going to retire on these books, but if Excalibur comes out, first of all, this one, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, there is one that does not have a price variant. That is a newsstand edition that is pretty decently valued. So really quick, provided, I think, it's issues 1 through 4, 6, 7, and 9, all signed by, I guess, either Alan Davis or Chris Claremont. Number 5 is not signed. So, also the Mojo Mayhem is signed by Art Davis, and the first appearance of Excalibur, first ever appearance, is this thicker book. Definitely one I would recommend to get. How much would you have paid for that set? Now, again, Excalibur is coming to the MCU in theory. And until it's on the screen, anything can change. But if anybody wants to pause the video, if you're watching it later on, or if you want to comment here in the live stream, how much would you have paid for that? So I'll give a second if you want to pause it, but if you want to put what you would have paid for this, now they're all signed except for issue number 5. Again, I'm not going to go through each one, so some of them might have both, but at least it shows it's either or for the signatures. But the ones I did open, issue 1 and 2, and then the 2 bigger novels, both have signatures in them, so it does confirm it. I paid total $36.45, which comes out to $4.55 each. For signed books, I'll take that all day and every day. And GTK Comics said he'd spend $95, which is not even, that's not bad for books that are all signed, except for issue number 5. Big deal. I think I can live without issue number 5, which has no special appearance in it whatsoever, other than it being a good read. If you haven't read the Alan Davis version of Excalibur, highly recommend it. Love his artwork, love the stories. I was into it when I was in college. So definitely check it out if you can. Great reads. But to spend $4.55, good luck finding this one unsigned. And again, I showed it. Chris Claremont's signature right there, written in pen. So I think for that price, for the potential of them being in the movies, for that price, you can't go wrong. But you can choose to differ from that if you wish. All right, let's get to the next one. And thank you, GTK Comic, for saying what you would have paid for it. If anybody wants to tell me if they think that's a good or a horrible deal, you're more than welcome to put that either in the live chat if you're live, or in the comment section once this uploads. Next up, I thought this is one, I didn't know what it was, and then I saw that it is written down. It's just very light, the ink that I used. So I do know now what's in here. All right, so they taped it pretty good. They didn't use the painter's tape, so they used regular tape, which, as long as it's protected, that's all I care about. All right, so they taped it to the cardboard. So you got to be careful when you're taking this out that you don't rip or ruin the comic. So let's get this back in. How many of you, when you open these, end up saving them for other times in case you have to sell a book? How many of you are like me who save them? I'm sure many of you do, because I've had many books sent to me where there's a label on top of a label on top of a label on top of a label. So either somebody likes collecting labels of different people's addresses or they reuse several times. All right, so next up, these are all the same book. Oh, no, they're not. Okay. So we have, this is Vampirella #5, the Lucio Perillo Virgin variant. And there's also, I guess maybe they threw in a comic because there's also Vampirella and Deja Thoris, issue #1. And they threw in a Virgin variant of the book. So that's cool because either I didn't write that down or that's a throw in. But I bought these, well, it was delivered in 2019. So here is the other. This is the one that I was buying it for. This is Vampirella #5, the Lucio Perillo Virgin variant. There were two of them. So I paid $33.48 each. But now technically you divide it by 4 because they threw in these two books for free. So that's not bad. So it comes out to about $8.50 a piece. That's not bad. And I obviously don't know how much this one is worth, but I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in that just for the artwork. I mean, that's the kind that you get graded and you frame it on the wall. I like good artwork. All right, next up. And again, if anybody wants to chime in when they see books, what they might have paid for them, you're more than welcome to. This one was this year, earlier this year. So this hasn't been in this box for too long. Again, well protected because I always make sure I ask the sellers. Is there a book in here? Is there not a bag and board? Okay. I'm looking, I'm like, oh, all right, I got screwed because I'm seeing nothing but this. So they put it in here and I can tell there's no bag and board. So bad job on their behalf to do that. So I'm going to definitely be saying something to the seller because it's all bent big time. But this is also not what they claimed it to be. So I'll be filing a return on this one. This is Avengers 196 First Taskmaster. It's supposed to be, and they had images of it, of a Mark Julius variant. Mark Julius variant is not in here. So I'm glad I didn't wait on this one. I paid a total of $70.78, but I'll be getting my money back on that. And that's why it always pays the check. So this person did a horrible job, tried to scam me, but I'm a lot smarter than people like that. So it's unfortunate you get that every now and then. But hey, what are you going to do? The good thing about eBay is I'll get my money back. All right, so last but not least, this is the last box. I know what's in here, so obviously it's one that I thought I didn't know. Again, it was written in ink that I just didn't notice. So no big deal. I mean, I don't think anybody really cares. They were just interested in seeing what the comics are and seeing if I get screwed. And not even in a good way. So this is a weird box. All right. This is actually a Golden Age book. All right, I got to be careful with this because it doesn't look like it's got much support. feels very flimsy. So I want to cut the tape and I don't want to just pull it. Never pull it, ladies and gentlemen, because you can go blind. That's for all the unmarried people out there, or you never know, some married people. All right, so this is probably, it's got damage on the bottom, which I'm sure when I bought it I knew about. So this is probably a 2.0, but this is Bucky and Toro, Young Allies number 13 from 1944. It has, oh, okay. It has no back cover, and I wrote that down. So it's a 0.5. So even with that, when you're talking books like this, they still have value. So let me ask, with a 0.5 without a back cover, so it wouldn't be like a no grade because it has the front cover. How much would you have paid for this? 1944, Young Allies number 13. This is the part that I thought was a 2.0, but with no back cover, it's an automatic 0.5, which I did write that down, so that means I did know about it. I paid total with shipping and handling 99 bucks. So I think it was definitely worth the chance. So those are the books. All of them are good except for the one of the person trying to cheat me. But he who laughs last laughs best. So perfectly fine. I'll just go to eBay and report it. Luckily, I didn't wait too long on that one because if that would have been one from like 2019, well, there'd be nothing I can do from that point. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to hear what you have to think about. Well, hear what you have to say. If I can hear what you think, then I definitely have superpowers. I'd love to hear your opinion on all these books. Hey, sometimes poop happens, but I'll get my money back. No harm, no foul. And the person will get a negative rating for trying to be a lying cheater. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you so much for watching. Let's give our shout outs a shout out. Seems like everybody that's watching is my moderator. So we got Dan Lewis and Trade Paper Dad. Both of you are going to be today's surprise subscriber shout outs. You guys know the deal at this point. So if you want to put a link to either your social network, a YouTube channel, or something you sell on eBay or Amazon or any of those places, once the video uploads, you could do that and we'll give our shout outs a shout out. So thank you so much for watching. Again, two people were asking about showcase number 22, First Silver Age Hal Jordan and First Silver Age Green Lantern. Very key book. Since two people asked for it at the same time with neither one of them saying they wanted it, they just basically inquired about it. The one that offers the most for it will be the one that gets it. And I won't make it go back and forth for days and everything. I want to make sure somebody who wants it is the one that gets it. So if you're one of those people or both of those people and you hear this message, contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Even if you don't want it, just say, you'll back out or you changed your mind or whatever. Considering the sales that I made on this auction, I'm not worried about missing another sale. So thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Anybody thumb it up, that's awesome. Anybody that subscribes, that's even more awesome. Thank you to those who participated in the chat. And ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Have a great day, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Peace out, my peeps.